শুভ সন্ধ্যা আমার নাম Elena Tanzi আমি program manager Better Work Bangladesh. Good afternoon, my name is Elena Tanzi and I am the program manager of Better Work Bangladesh. First, I want to acknowledge our esteemed guests, Honorable Mr. Mohammed Abdus Samad Azad, the Joint Secretary, Labor Ring, Ministry of Labor and Employment, and the Director General of the Department of Labor. He got off a flight and came straight here, and so I really appreciate him. He saved my day. And then my other savior for the day is Mr. A.N.M. Saifuddin, the Director of the Bangladesh Garment and Manufacturers and Exporters Association. He is with us, and then he will catch a flight and then head out. So I really appreciate that we caught everyone between their busy schedules. And then Mr. Mababul Alam Chowdhury, I don't know where he's sitting. If you can come to the front, have a seat, sir. The Executive Director of Masco Group and from Bangladesh. And I also see a few of our brands in the audience, so I really appreciate seeing all of you and your support. And none of this would be possible without our friends Mustafiz and Omar. I really would like everyone could give them a round of applause because this is a massive event, super popular. And ever since my photo has been on the program, I've been getting messages from people all around the world. So it's been very fun for me also to see how far my photo can travel. So first, I think all of us know Bangladesh has achieved incredible milestones in safety, labor law reform, and green manufacturing. Also, Bangladesh is the first Asian country to ratify all 11 ILO fundamental conventions and the first in South Asia to ratify ILO Convention 190, which addresses harassment in the workplace. Bangladesh also hosts one of the largest concentration of LEED certified factories. So everyone, if you could please give a round of applause for the accomplishments of Bangladesh. That doesn't sound like Bangladesh. There's not enough proud Bangladeshis. All right, thank you so much. And today, the size of the Bangladeshi economy crossed $500 billion. And so even though we've been in this 3-year period of transition and many things have changed, the world is changing, Bangladesh's economy grew by $50 billion, which I think we really should think about how dynamic and diverse this economy is. And then, as I said, it's also been a period of transition. Bangladesh has navigated this period very well, and I think we should really, I think we got through the interim government to a new government, and we really appreciate that even though the new government has only been in power for a few months, they have set an ambitious and commendable agenda on labor, and even in the first 180 days. So I hope again we can give Bangladesh a round of applause. All right, we're getting a little bit better. All right, so I'm American. I'm very interactive, and I am the daughter of a diplomat and a school teacher, right? So I will regularly ask for your engagement. Thank you so much. So as has been mentioned by, I think, every panel I've seen, Bangladesh is navigating a critical turning point, preparing for the LDC graduation. This will change and reshape global trade dynamics. And I know very well, I'm not Bangladeshi, but I know Bangladesh is not new to complexity, right? And not new to dealing with change. I would say, I keep thinking to myself, if being rich was about hard work, Bangladesh would be one of the richest countries in the world. People work very hard. They navigate a lot of different changes every day, many more than I think I could manage. So even though they have been through many times, you have all been through many different complex times, one of the things that we at Better Work really are proud of and also is our cornerstone for our work is our data. So that's why we have this discussion today, woven in data, the past and future of Bangladesh's global competitiveness. So we really want to learn from the past to guide us into the future. So I know there's a lot of complexity to navigate, the potential loss of preferential market access, intensifying global due diligence requirements. I've heard that also in every single panel. Climate-related disruptions, which is also a focus of this conference, and geopolitical uncertainty. And international regulation, brands, and customer expectations are rising, and navigating that is not easy. So as mentioned, Bangladesh has made important progress, but today we want to think about how can we move beyond just compliance, right, into becoming a trusted sourcing ecosystem that can compete and succeed in the next decade of Bangladesh's story. So our data, as my colleague Samira will show in a few minutes, shows that compliance drives international success. That's not because it's fun to take a test, right? It's not fun to do an audit. It's because information and regularly confirmed information builds trust, right? People have this change over time. And our factories that we partner with show a 55% higher export revenue and a 50% higher export revenue volume compared to their peers. We also see a more diverse range of buyers and customers, and in a complex, changing time, it's important to have that diversity because things change. You need many different paths to navigate. And so information moves at lightning speed. Supply chains are also facing these strict legislative liability and rising customer expectations. Data is not just about audits. It's a tool for transformation, predicting systemic risk, and providing stability. So finally, our goal today is to explore how the Bangladeshi ecosystem can learn from its past to help plan for the future. We're hoping to weave together our data, our experiences, and our choices for a stronger Bangladesh. Thank you, and then I would like to turn to my colleague Samira to share the presentation.
Thank you, Elena. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our panel discussion, Woven in Data. As Elena mentioned, my name is Samira Manzoor, and I'm the Research Officer at Better Work Bangladesh. And I will be your guide for the next, I hope, 10 or so minutes. To set the global stage, let me start with a short video from our colleague Nikita, based in Geneva.
Hi, I'm Nikita Grabermeyer, Technical Officer on the Research and Impact team at Better Work Global. For more than 20 years, Better Work, an initiative of the ILO and International Finance Corporation, has worked with factory managers and workers, governments, social partners, and global brands to improve working conditions and competitiveness in the global apparel industry. Today, we operate in 11 countries, reaching more than 2,000 factories and over 3 million workers. Our work begins at the factory level, through assessments of compliance with national labor law and the principles of international labor standards, and through advisory services, training, and peer learning. Factory managers and worker representatives work together to identify challenges and drive continuous improvement. But as you know, factories do not operate in a vacuum. Working conditions are shaped not only by what happens inside factories, but also by market pressures, buyer practices, and the wider national policy environment. And this is why we also work at sectoral, national, and global levels to help address the systemic barriers to decent work. At the heart of all this work is our data. Every assessment and factory interaction generates information that helps us identify challenges, track progress, and target support where it's needed most. Findings are shared with factories, brands, and other stakeholders to promote improvement, accountability, and transparency. But data alone is not enough. To turn data into actionable evidence, we work with leading researchers and academic institutions that analyze it independently and rigorously. Together, we have built one of the richest evidence bases on labor compliance in global supply chains. And the findings are clear. The Better Work model works. Workers earn more while working fewer excessive hours. Workplaces become safer and more stable, and stronger worker management dialogue and effective collective bargaining are associated with better compliance outcomes. Importantly, better working conditions and better business performance go hand in hand, helping factories become more productive, more competitive, and more resilient thanks to stronger business relationships and commercial terms with buyers. Understanding long-term impact is only part of the story. We also need to understand what factories are experiencing right now. And this is why we have expanded our data toolbox with rapid insight instruments designed to capture factory perspectives and experiences in near real time. During recent periods of uncertainty, including the introduction of new US tariffs and the crisis in the Middle East, our factory pulse tracker surveys helped us quickly understand how factories were responding to these shocks and provide timely evidence to inform dialogue and action. Finally, none of this work would be possible without strong partnerships. Researchers help us transform data into credible, robust evidence, but also employers and workers' organizations, buyers, and other partners can help us reach beyond our own footprint and share lessons learned across the industry. Because ultimately, data itself is not the goal. Better workplaces are, and achieving them requires robust evidence, trusted partnerships, and most importantly, a shared commitment to turning insights into change. Thank you.
Okay. So Nikita has walked us through the global picture of our program and how we operate across multiple countries. If you look at the map here, you can see that Bangladesh is our biggest country program in terms of workers. Today, there are 501 factories enrolled in Better Work Bangladesh who employ nearly 1.48 million workers. And this number really speaks to Bangladesh's weight in the global garment industry. Now let's zoom in on Bangladesh and share, and we would like to share what we have and how we know it and what else we would like to know. This is just a visualization of what Nikita had shared. So we have three primary data sources. The first comes from our operational data through assessments, advisory, and training. Second, we have research insights from independent scholars who help us capture the program's impact as well as to connect what is happening inside the factories to what is happening outside in global markets. And the newest layer, our Pulse Tracker, which is a rapid survey tool that helps us generate somewhat real-time insights into what factories are experiencing, their experiences, concerns, and suggestions for the future. Each of these layers, they answer different questions. And together, they help us build a more comprehensive picture of what is happening in the industry and how we can support them. Now, I would like to show a snippet from a study conducted in 2022, and Elena had referenced this earlier as well. So we worked with a group of researchers from the Graduate Institute in Geneva, the London School of Economics, and Columbia University to understand how Better Work was shaping outcomes in its enrolled factories. The researchers used our compliance data as well as external data sources, including an in-depth worker survey, customs data from the Bangladesh Customs, the labor force survey data from Bangladesh Bureau of Statistics. And they compared the working conditions and growth trajectories between enrolled factories and comparable factories that were outside our program. The study found that in Bangladesh, Better Work Bangladesh, the enrolled factories had improved their compliance by an average of 33%. You can see it in the first box there on the left. And on the business side, the remaining 4 boxes, these factories recorded 55% higher export revenues, 50% higher export volume. And perhaps most interestingly, they received a 5% price premium compared to their counterparts. This premium showed no pre-trend before enrollment in the program, which points to a genuine program effect. This suggests that the improved working conditions, increased transparency, and improved reputation had contributed to this price premium. These are neither small nor accidental gains. This is what happens, or what can happen, when working conditions, good governance, and business performance are treated not as trade-offs, but as complementary and interconnected factors. And we have been hearing this throughout the different panels today as well. Now, second, I would like to share a bit from our last pulse tracker. I think this is showing up a little differently than we had planned, but it's okay. This is the latest from our data toolbox, whereas the 2022 study tells us about better work participation, what better work participation has meant over time. The pulse tracker tells us what factories are experiencing right now. Earlier this year, in January, the Pulse Tracker surveyed 247 factories in our program who shared their experiences and suggestions. This slide is showing data from just 3 of the many questions we asked. And when you look at this, please bear in mind that these were collected before the most recent developments in global politics and supply chain disruptions. In the survey, 99% of the respondents, which is nearly all, told us that they had fully implemented the required 9% wage increase in 2025. So they were able to absorb this cost. At the same time, 80% said that they were expecting costs to rise further in 2026, either through fuel costs, raw materials, and just overall production costs. And also very interestingly, only 7% responded to this cost pressure by negotiating higher prices with the buyers. Only 7%. So something to keep in mind. And we also asked the factories what kind of help they would like. And the answers were as expected and also consistent. 4 things stood out. Respondents wanted more equal and fair FOB prices that reflected the reality, stable long-term buyer partnerships, reliable energy and infrastructure, and easier access to finance and transparent regulations. This is nothing new to us. We have all heard this before. But it is still powerful to see this come through in numbers and as a unified voice. And these are all actionable, thank you. And these are all actionable suggestions that all industry actors should consider. Oh, before I go this, I just wanted to pitch another thing. So far, our Pulse Tracker has surveyed all factories that are enrolled in the Better Work program, but we are very keen on expanding this Pulse Tracker to factories that are not in our program. And that will really help us build a better and more comprehensive picture of the sector at large and also the different segments of the sector. So this is also a little bit of a partnership pitch. So we'll be running the Pulse Tracker again later this year, and we'll be reaching out to many of you to invite your factories to share their inputs and experiences. Okay. All right. So what do we see? We see that Bangladesh has the evidence, has the compliance data, the export numbers, and the will to create real change. It is all here. What we still need to build on together is an ecosystem to act on it. So let me leave 3 questions on the table here for the panelists, as well as everyone else in the room, and also those not in the room. First, what will it take to move from factory-level improvements to sectoral-level transformation? Second, how can we use data and evidence for shared accountability and to build competitiveness? Third, how can we ensure that the cost of responsible production is shared across the supply chain and is not falling solely on factories? Again, thank you for joining today. I will now hand it back to Elena. Thank you.
Thank you, and a round of applause for Samira. And then now I'd like to invite Letitia to come and moderate our panel. She'll invite our panel guests to the stage. And thank you all so much for your kind attention.
Thank you so much, Alina, Samira, and Nikita online for this very insight presentation. So we have heard that looking at compliance will not be sufficient as we move forward towards a trusted sourcing ecosystem. So now I would like to invite 3 honorable panel members, and hear their insight, how we can move forward to a more trusted ecosystem. So please join me to welcome from the government, Mr. Abdus Samad Azad, Joint Secretary, Labor Wing, Ministry of Labor. I also would like to invite from the Industry Association, BGMEA, Mr. A.N.M. Saifuddin, Director. And from the manufacturer group Masco, I'm delighted to invite Mabubul Alam Chaudhary, Executive Director. And if time permits, after 2 rounds of questions, I will be very interested to hear the concluding remark from His Excellency, the Ambassador of Italy. So thank you so much for being with us today. So I will have 2 rounds of questions for you. Bangladesh achievement, as we are on the verge of LDC graduation, has been outstanding. We have seen the ratification of 11 fundamental pieces of standards. We have seen this year the approval for a new Bangladesh Labour Act. I think ratification of Convention 190 is the first South Asian country to ratify. And I believe that Bangladesh is now also playing a very leadership role in International Labour Conference in June, which is concluding now, as Bangladesh is a vice president. And also in UN General Assembly, Bangladesh will play a very important role. So after hearing this presentation, how do you see your priority intersecting with ours from Better Work, but also from the different implementing compliance agency? How can we be helpful to you, and how do you see using data going forward?
A very good evening to you all. I was actually not expected here today. The IG DIFE was expected, but I am directly from my trip to Cox's Bazar to participate here. I have 3 roles to play, so I am also playing the role of the project director of advancing decent work in Bangladesh. I don't know whether it make any conflict with Better Work program or the aspects that you have mentioned. I would like to go to the first question first and then to the second question later. How do you view data or statistics? We view, as a policymaker, we view data in greater perspective. That is, it gives us insights, gives us evidence, and help us evidence-informed or evidence-based policy making. As appreciated earlier by the presenters here of the Better Works and also the achievements that have been mentioned by you, we had rounds of discussions. We collected data from different sources. We tried to follow the international labor standards and in formulating the Bangladesh Labor Act, and also in the process of formulating the labor rules, we'll have consultation with different data providers, including Better Works. You'll be glad to know that we had consulted Better Work programs, the representatives of Better Work programs, before formulating the annexures to health-related, health and occupational-related diseases, and also the OSH-related accidents that take place. So we could incorporate the different diseases that are prevalent because of their hazardous work conditions in the factories, and also the accidents that take place in different. We could take stock of this. So data helped us a lot of ways. And in formulating the OSH strategy in future, you have mentioned that we ratified Convention 155 and 187. We have definitely a plan to incorporate and formulate a strategy to implement them nationwide. So we'd also take data, information, so that it becomes evidence informed. Going to the second part of the question that you have made, how your work can be intersecting with our perspective, our course of actions in making policy. I would actually like to have an external audit mechanism. I am, to a great extent, I am convinced that the data that you have provided were correct, but it needs to be correlated with the facts we have with us. Say, for customs data, does it necessarily support the export increased who adopted the Better Work program here? I need to find out the correlation between these in practice so that I can check and can approve it for the policy making. And I'll also like to take those who have taken the service of the Better Work and those who have not taken the service of the Better Work. I need to judge, evaluate, and compare, and then go for evidence-informed policy making. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your insightful presentation. I think we are taking forward this importance to build evidence-based policy, particularly now that you have ratified new instruments. I'm taking note of the importance of the verification and traceability of data and the importance of the control group. Moving forward, my next question will be for you, Mr. Saifuddin. So you just returned from the International Labour Conference in Geneva, where Bangladesh had an important leadership role. Where do you see the sectoral priority moving forward, and how can we help each other?
Thank you, Leticia. Good evening, everybody. Actually, in last 12 years, this is first time I couldn't or didn't completed the total conference. I supposed to stay there up to 12th, but somehow I have returned earlier, and that is why today I am here. This year ILC was very tempted. The key sectoral priorities from this ILC 26, beside platform economy, it was a very tough topics. I have attended 7 days. It was in a very crucial situation, the platform economy. There's a big bargaining going on, lots of brackets was there. Beside this, include this time advancing gender equality at work. It was very another issue. Strengthening social dialogue and sustainable business practices. Out of 4 areas, these 3 areas was discussed. And Better Work and factories under Better Work can help each other by aligning these goals of ILC 26 to build resilient, compliant, and competitive supply chain. Here also, I'm glad to share, this time ILC Bangladesh was in a good position. Our High Commissioner chaired as a vice chair. She was elected from the government side. Again, there is a big appreciation for the amendment of BLA 2026. And there is another good news for us as a Bangladeshi. Since 2017, we were in the top worst country list in as per ITUC. This time, ITUC, they are glad to release us from worst country list. Top 10 worst country list, we came out. So, as just returned from ILC, as Letitia asking me, these two good news I am sharing, and other three ongoing. Bitog working on that. Our DIFE working on that. Lot of other audit firm also working on that. We are moving forward. This is the main point, and definitely we'll do better in future. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Saifuddin. And indeed, a lot of subjects seems to have been in the highlights this year. I'm glad to hear that Bangladesh was properly appreciated for their labor law reform progress. And we are very much to hear what will be coming out of the platform economy and advancing gender equality. Moving on, I shall turn to Mr. Chaudhary, and a question for you. If you could tell us a little bit more about your journey with Better Work, and how have you changed business practices over the year?
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. First of all, I would like to thank Better Work Bangladesh and Bangladesh Denim Expo to organize this important discussion today in this critical situation of our apparel business. Bangladesh apparel is one of the key economic driving engine for our economy. And we have already achieved significant milestone, and we have shown our commitment, we have shown our resilience during very toughest possible time. Especially after the Rana Plaza, Bangladesh has already proven that we are one of the safest industry we do have, having with more than 250 green factory. This clearly shown that our commitment and resilience towards the commitment of the global requirement. So textile and apparels always changing its dimension and requirement in different times. And we have always tried to adopt with the new requirement. So nowadays, with the comply with the SDG goal, what is we have to complete by 2030, and also other requirement, especially European Union due diligence law and other requirement, the business requirement is shifted from one direction to the other directions. So if we talk about if we reply to your questions about when we have started our journey with Better Work. We have started our journey with Better Work in 2018 with one of our industry called Shanta Expression Limited. And since then, we have extended our cooperation with Better Work Bangladesh, and right now, 7 of our company, industries, is working under Better Work program. So if we talk about what is the business dimensional shape or requirement, the business competitiveness will be determined not only the price, efficiency, or production capacity. It will be shifted towards competitiveness. Buyer is increasingly demanding for trusted manufacturer who can demonstrate their resilience, trust, better working environment, social environmental sustainability, better labor practice, and also the stronger labor practice. So this shifted, we need a huge amount of data that how can we move forward. So Moscow is continuously improving. Our philosophy is to improve continuously. We call it Kaizen. And also the Better Work is working with us since 2018. And there are certain key achievements we already accomplished out of this Better Work journey with us that I would like to share. First of all, better work help us to create a proactive, shifted our journey to reactive compliance to proactive compliances. So what does it mean by reactive compliance and proactive compliances? Reactive compliance means is whenever there is an issue, we try to address these issues. Nowadays, we try to focus more on more sustainable approaches which we can eliminate through the systems. So these are the things we learned from the better work. And then the second one is that it was created proactive continuous improvement. This is just aligned with the Muscat Group, what the philosophy we believe, that is continuously we try to improve for each and every area of our operation, especially the compliance and other part, not only the compliance, basically the same things also we follow our operation management too, because this is the philosophy we strongly believe, and we are here today because of the Kaizen concept, means continuous improvement. And second one is through the dialogue, through the work and engagement, and also the social dialogue, strengthen our relationship and trust, building trust among the workers. So that is also another significant important. But for most important thing, greater awareness of the peoples, of the worker, is impact positively to create a different environment for our industry. So this is the achievement. We have also certain dissatisfaction. What is the dissatisfaction is? Because as the industry, we are really committed to comply all the requirement, whatever is buyer stated or the global requirement is. The problem is, when 2011, Sustainable Apparel Coalition come into the picture, they say that they will develop the system which everybody will follow. There will be unified and only one platform, everybody will follow for that. That is later on it converted into the HIC, and now it is, we call it widely. But after that, when better work come, then better work says that, okay, only better work tools if you follow, then you don't need to follow any other tools, because this will be their only unified tools to reduce the compliance fatigue. But our experience is now our customer or buyer is not following that commitment, though industry is coming forward. The biggest challenge is now each and every customer is asking for different data for the single purpose. If we really make these things impactful, we need to establish a common platform which everybody definitely need to follow that data so that we can really make a meaningful, sustainable apparel journey for our future perspective. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I think a lot of your audience today will echo what you are saying. The importance to align, the importance to trust the data, and the importance to have one unify and simplify verifiable data system. So moving forward, before I start my second round of questions, we have a small video we would like to play from Mr. Haider Anwar, the CEO of Digital Bridge Labs. And some of you have met him. He is promoting the concept of the digital passport that will be able to ensure throughout the supply chain verify information, trusted information, because he said, as Bangladesh positions itself for the next generation of global trade, the challenge is no longer simply producing quality product, but demonstrating credible evidence how they were made. To unpack this opportunity, please help me welcome Mr. Haider and his video.
My name is Haider Anwar, and I'm the CEO of Digital Bridge Labs. We are a research to policy studio, and we work on the structural problems between local industry and global markets. And we build the bridges where technology, trust, and trade meet. As Bangladesh approaches the LDC graduation, the old advantages narrow. Preferences fall away, due diligence becomes mandatory, and sustainability reporting becomes the price of entry. And the digital product passport arrives. The question is no longer whether we can manufacture, it's whether we can demonstrate credibly and consistently how our products are being made. Because a digital product passport isn't a label, it's actually evidence, traceability that you can trust, a verifiable record of environmental performance, sourcing, working conditions that buyers, regulators, and investors can rely on. But the technology alone does not create trust. Trust comes from the data that is consistent, honest, and standardized. Consistent so that the practice is measured in the same way in every factory, honest so every claim carries evidence, not a declaration, and standardized so no single buyer or vendor writes the rules to suit themselves. This is not technical detail. It's actually fairness. When data is inconsistent, poor performers hide and responsible businesses go unrewarded. And when the standard is shared, the floor actually rises. Higher standards stop being the exception, they actually become the norm. And transparency turns from a cost into a competitive advantage. And this is why the passport and Better Work belong together. For over a decade, Better Work has built exactly this evidence base. Comparable data on safety, work times, wages, contracts, and fundamental rights. And the results are clear. Stronger compliance and stronger business performance go hand in hand. The decent work is decent business. The direction of our work with UCL College London, BRAC University, and partners across the sector, we are actually researching these systems on how they converge through common definition, shared taxonomies, and verified evidence. Whether it's energy, chemicals, wages, or working hours, the goal is one trusted record, interpretable across many frameworks, and we report once to satisfy due diligence, buyer requirements, and regulatory reporting at the same time. This is how Bangladesh changes its position in the global trade. From being audited against everyone else's rules, it sets a standard of its own, a trusted data foundation built and owned here. And that unlocks market access, finance, and resilience as rules tighten. Better Work provides the evidence, the digital product passport carries it into the world, and the connective layer that lets one trusted record answer them all is exactly what we're working on. The winners of the next era of trade will not be the lowest of cost. They'll be the ones who can prove beyond doubt that their products are made responsibly. Bangladesh will be one of them.
All right, so as we are moving on to the second round of questions, we realize that transparency is no longer only about compliance reporting. It's also about using data to better understand and manage the risk. So resilience is increasingly being defined not only by productivity, but also by strong partnership, effective social dialogue, and ability to collectively address these challenges when they occur. So my second round of questions, and maybe I will start with you, Mr. Saifuddin, because I know you are tight with time. Buyer demand greater transparency along the supply chain. What support do you think is needed? What data are needed? And how can we use data to make this decision?
Thank you, Letitia. To meet global buyers' demands for transparency, R&D factories need standardized digital tools, technical framing, and capacity building to track their supply chain, which Better Work is providing, Better Work is doing. Also, factory can utilize data on wages, OSH, and workforce demography to comply with the international due diligence regulations, optimize human resources, and justify responsible sourcing. This is one part of the word transparency. Actually, only on transparency, a day-long seminar, I think, is not sufficient. So your question is, what buyer want the transparency, but there is a two side of the game. Buyers want transparency from the manufacturers. At the same time, manufacturers also need to see the transparency from the buyer's end. Transparency in their buying system, how they are operating my competitive countries, how the buyers are buying from the factories who are not under better work. Also, globally from other sourcing countries, how they are buying. That transparency we don't have. But from our side, our book is very much open to the brands and the buyers. We have to give the total cost sheet. Even sometimes they take into consideration about any incentive given by the government on export for export performance. That also they take into consideration while doing our costing. Even some brands also calculate whether any gain from the currency conversion. So, transparent, if you want the transparency should be for everybody. Employer said we will be transparent. Buyer who is buying from me, we also know what is that really, how their policy, how they are doing the business here, how they are giving the prices of us, because every compliance, everything is a cost. So a factory running with better work, they have had additional cost. Whether that factories are getting that's additional surcharge or not. If we see we are paying a certain amount for the better work, but my another colleague factory who are not running with the better work, but getting from the importers through agent in the same price, then there is a question, why should I go for with this? So when there is a word transparency, this should be transparent, total transparent. Thank you.
Thank you so much for this very important to highlight that overlapping audits is probably the opportunity to move away from overlapping audits towards trusted and widely accepted framework that can reduce duplication, but also strengthen
I'm sorry,
confidence.
From this, your very word overlapping. You know that long time we are telling one thing, overlapping of audits. In the last session also, we heard it is discussed. If this is brand-driven program, buyers-driven program. ILO's permanent project, but this is absolutely by the buyers-driven. I need to do business with such one buyer, and there is a condition, we must go through better work. So, no option, we are joining. If the factory running with better work and instructed by the brand that if you want to do work with me, you must follow this better work, then why that brand again need another 1, 2, 3 audits? That means buyer themselves not believing better work audit. Duplication of audit means this is a cost, time spending, and a hazardous for us. So that should be also, always we are telling this, you know that, with a better team, and you also, I know, you people also always trying to sit with the buyer to convince them that no need duplication of audit. Only few, 2, 3 brand now, almost 90% of the better work they accept, some 2, 3 points they are doing audit. But most of the cases, there are lots of audits we have to face. That is why always we have this question. What do you see we are running under better work? Sorry, I can interrupt you, but from that word, I had to take them.
I understand. Thank you for this response. I understand. I shall move on. Moving on to the question to Mr. Azad. Compliance is increasingly complex, as you can hear. How is Bangladesh positioning itself as a trusted sourcing hub? What are your data needs, and how do you use data to make decisions? What role should shared data play in the future in the sector?
Thank you. Let me put things in context, because you have 4 or 5 questions all together. Compliance is increasingly becoming complex. Moreover, there are external shocks. shocks like Middle East crisis, shocks like fuel price going up, Ukraine, COVID. Sequentially, these are coming in. First thing. Second thing, we are going to graduate from LDC. We are poised to lose the market access. It is expected that we are going to lose the market access that was earlier very easy. That is one side. On the other side, the expectations with regards to compliance is going very high. There are expectations of responsible business conduct with relation to environment, labor compliance, good governance, and sustainability. So all those things put together, the things on the left side, the things on the right side, the global crisis and the expectation. There should always be some mitigation between expectation and reality. So what Saifuddin Bhai has told us, there should be somewhere some mitigation so that better work can be of some help, some support. They are definitely supporting us. And with regards to expectation, we overcome those complexities earlier. Bangladesh is a very resilient country. And we understand that a calm sea never make a very good sailor. We faced many adversities, and this time we will also face. Coming to the question that you made first, how is Bangladesh positioning itself as a trusted sourcing hub? We have two particular policy decisions at hand. We are going to, as our co-panelist has mentioned, that shifting our focus from reactive compliance to preemptive or preventive compliance, proactive compliance. With regulatory point of view, we are shifting our focus from reactive enforcement to preventive compliance mechanism. With regards to law, occupational safety and health, collective bargaining, we are going for automation. I am currently the Director General of Labor Department, so I am working on TURMS, Trade Union Registration Management System. It has definitely been made easy, and it is going to be made easier. And I am proactively looking after collective bargaining and also freedom of association, and look into AUD and ULP, unfair labor practice, anti-union discrimination, that will be properly dealt with. So that the tripartite mechanism worked very well. The government, the employer and employee worked very well for preventive and proactive compliance. First thing. Second one, we have so many good examples before us. We don't need to reinvent the wheel. We have so many governments compliant, and they are very famous around the globe, across the globe. Otherwise, sourcing from these garments would not have been possible. Bangladesh is a pioneer garments manufacturer and exporter. So we take that practice into consideration. We'll go by that practice. And we'll try to improvise that. Regarding data, as I have mentioned earlier, we made data useful for evidence-informed or evidence-based policy making in the past, and we will continue that in the future. And lastly, sharing data. I have some particular observation with regards to sharing data. We want to go far, so we want to go together. We want to share data, and that sharing would definitely help us avoid duplication that we expect from data sharing. Thank you.
Thank you so much for all this system transformation that you mentioned. I guess a lot of example of data will be feeding into those. Moving on, I shall ask my last question to you, Mr. Chaudhary. So what factory level change do you think other factories should adopt and why? What support is needed? What are your data needs and how do you use data to make decisions?
Thank you. It's a very good question. Basically, to suggest any other factory, I can say that one thing is very important. That is the commitment, individual commitment, how we can move or where standard we can want to see our factory at what level. So the first of all, commitment is very, very important. And secondly, we should, through the better work or other practices, I can say that if you can establish the culture of continuous improvement, I called it Kaizen. Kaizen can change a factory at any level, not only industry. I can say that my personal belief it can change a nation even. So through this one of the important and the second important parameters is that if we can create a trusty relationship between the worker and the management through the social dialogue and identify the problem and empower the peoples and also engage the peoples, engage the worker to identify the problem jointly and try to find out the root causes and find out the suitable solution. So it can help that they feel great and also create a trusty relationship between worker and the management. So in long term, this relationship can help the factory really more sustainable and also create a congenial atmosphere to run the operation smoothly. So this is the one thing I would like to suggest. And second thing is data is always important because if we take the decision in personal perspective rather than the data-driven decision, the personal perspective data always we can create a problem or we may take a wrong decision. So if we take the decision based on the data, we can take a correct decision. One important parameter, what we always say in our factory, all of our improvement, all of our benchmarking is based on the data. And what the practice we are doing that for each and every parameter, for each and every year, we set our own benchmarking and there is a follow-up tool. So we call it upper control limit and lower control limit. So we follow up the data based on that. So definitely data help us to improve, to mitigate the risk and to improve our industry to the next level. Even it also helps to accelerate the operation, excellency, and reduce the waste and also improve the improvement in terms of quality and productivity. So there is no doubt that data is not important. But I understand that today you are talking about the social compliance data or environment compliance data. Here the biggest challenge is that what data we should preserve. Everybody talking about the environmental sustainability. I'm deeply involved in this journey, especially the environmental sustainability part. And the last year I have presented a presentation. I've given a presentation in Manchester Fashion Institute, where in Bangladesh perspective and Moscow perspective, where we stand today, compare with the global data. So data is not available, especially which data we should consider. Only available data is the HIG or worldly data. So we have clearly shown that in every perspective, in terms of social, in terms of environmental, and also material perspective, we are far ahead than global standard. I'm talking about Moscow Group. For instance, our better world data in terms of the level 1, we achieved 72 to 78. Our achievement is 72 to 78. 7 factories, I'm talking. Why I give it the range? is between 72 to 78. But I can proudly say that in HIG data, two of our industry, our score is 96 and another factor is 98. I believe that this is one of the highest score globally so far I know. So means is our commitment and data-driven approach is there and our continuous improvement journey is there to achieve that one. I would like to highlight it because I would like to take the opportunity here to share the ideas. We are very much committed as our company to comply all the requirement continuously, especially the due diligence initiative and the SDG, sustainable data in terms of environmental sustainability. Our commitment is to reduce the carbon emission 42% on the baseline of 2021 and some other initiative. There are 7 areas we have selected and working on it. The challenging part is that what data customer will believe, what platform we can put our data. So until and unless we can define the platform, then whatever the data is, it is not impactful or not show the competitiveness of our country. So I would request here to all the buyers and all the stakeholders to make a really impactful data tools so that we can measure ourselves, and we would like to take the challenge that how far we can go, so that if you can globally measure it, we want to show ourselves, we want to prove ourselves how much score we can achieve or sustainable achievement we can score. So altogether, so data is important, but things is the reliable tools is very, very important to make the trusty data or reliable data for the future journey of our industries.
Thank you so much. So I'm taking away the importance of the continuous learning and going back to the root causes and making sure that you identify how to sort out the problem when they are coming. I also take note of this impressive improvement journey that you are sharing with us, but also this desire to see how globally reliable data could be more made accessible to each other and continuously feed each other. So with those, this concludes my 2 rounds of questions. And if time permits, I would like to offer the possibility to the audience to say a couple of questions, but maybe before that, I would like to give the floor to His Excellency, the Ambassador of Italy, who is with us, if he could share a few of his insights of this session.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm actually late, so I apologize. I was supposed to speak at an earlier panel, but I was at the Parliament attending the presentation of the budget. We were invited, all the ambassadors were invited, and it was a very important presentation, a speech by the Minister of Finance, and that explains why I'm late. But it was, in a way, good because now I have the honor to somehow close the 20th edition of the Denim Expo, Bangladesh Denim Expo. So I'm thankful to the organizer for inviting Italy every year to this important fair. And I understand why you invite Italy every year, because in fact, the Italian companies have contributed substantially to the development of this industry in Bangladesh through machinery, expertise, skills, and chemical products, etc. And in fact, several companies every edition attend the fair. And this year we even opened a stand. We brought a stand by Italian Trade Agency, our official Italian trade agency, who was there to promote contacts between buyers and sellers and companies of Bangladesh and Italy. So let me say that this exhibition, this denim exhibition, is important not only for the B2B that it promotes, but I think it's important for the debate that it raises between stakeholders, between policymakers, and that's why these panels are so important. I thank you for promoting these panels, because I think that the industry, the denim industry, the garment industry in general is under transition, isn't it? So we need to talk and share ideas and understand which direction we have to take. There are so many challenges at the moment. Think about the logistic channel, think about the demand challenge, because the global demand of this kind of items is, I don't know, maybe a bit declining or in any way transforming. So how to face these challenges, that's the objective of this kind of debate. And data, of course, are so important. So I thank you for sharing ideas and giving inputs to companies and policymakers about the importance of data and how to tackle these challenges. Italy believes in the strength of the Bangladeshi industrial sector, textile, garment sector. We believe in that, and that's why we are. I was going around and meeting Italian people, entrepreneurs, representatives of Italian business attending the exhibition. I was talking to them, and I was asking, what is your forecast for the future? What is your guess for the future? And they all said there is no plan B to Bangladesh. They said there is no plan B to Bangladesh. So Bangladesh is and will remain the main industrial manufacturing platform for garment and denim in this case. So this is quite reassuring in a way. On the other hand, it's a big responsibility, right? Because you have to live up to this position that you have achieved, and make sure that you continue to evolve and you continue to be competitive in the market, even when you will lose the least developed country status, right? This is the big challenge ahead. But I want again to reassure that European companies, Italian companies in particular, are behind Bangladesh, are supportive of your industry sector, because of course it's a win-win. We sell machinery and technology to make you produce better, so that our brands, when they buy a garment, can be successful, and the final customer has a good product, an environment-friendly product, and a product that is nice and that lasts long. So, full support to the industry, full support to Bangladesh. And let's continue to, in a way, stay together to face the challenges of the future. This is probably my message. These challenges ahead must be assessed and tackled together. This is my message. So thank you very much, and thank you for hosting me today. And apologies again for disrupting a little bit your program. Thanks again.
Grazie mille, grazie mille. Grazie mille.
Where in all this is China? We saw the map. Where's China? Where's Shein? Where's all of this? And why nobody acknowledged the achievement Bangladesh did in so few years, you can say? This is my question, especially for Better Work.
Thank you. I believe the session today, our country manager, Ms. Alena, acknowledged the achievement of Bangladesh, particularly with regard to labor standard approval, and the progress we have done in many areas, including occupational safety and health. Better Work is a program that has been requested by the government. We have started 25 years ago in Cambodia due to fair trade agreement, and it was a request of the government of Cambodia. We moved to 11 countries at the request of those countries. China has not requested the support of Better Work.
Why don't you frame them for not joining, for not requesting?
So, 这边有没有中国人? Just checking if there's any Chinese colleagues to share. I grew up in China. I speak Mandarin. So we can compare. So obviously we are invited by different countries, right? We're not trying to be forced upon anyone. But China, I actually think there's a missed opportunity because China also cares about elevating the sort of stereotypes about the Made in China brand. And so similar how Bangladesh has elevated the Made in Bangladesh brand, I think there's a missed opportunity. China believes in rules and regulations, but there's obviously other challenges and obviously there's politics, right? So for me, I think as a Better Work program, we are in many different countries and working in many different contexts. So for us, I think it's a matter of a conversation. I think that at the ILO, ILC level, that's where that conversation lives. But I agree with you that we need this kind of transparency everywhere. So anyway, back to the next person. You had a... Sorry.
Thank you, Pak.
All right. My question is, I would like to understand one thing. So we are talking about data. And if we talk about data, Better Work reports or SLCP, even if we talk about the structural safety, right, Nirapon, or RSC assessments and their reports, I believe everybody here would agree that Bangladesh has come a long way, starting from that Rana Plaza incident to now. Bangladesh has actually developed one of the most transparent data platform in terms of safety assessments, which can be accessed from anywhere in the world, and they can see how a factory is doing in terms of safety assessments. Now, these are all data, right? Now, if I would like to understand from the panelists here, great panelists that we have, how much of it is being used, and especially at the policy level, are we utilizing it? And what are the opportunities that you see? Thank you.
I understand the question is pointed at me, but in particular, and to all the panelists in general. I mentioned earlier, before we ratified Convention 155 and 187, we took a small stock of all the affairs, all the accidents that take place, but that are not sufficient. I must agree, and I must admit. But some countries say that they will first come up with all the data and minimize the gap, and then they will ratify. We have probably ratified the midway, but there will be time, 2 years from now. We are developing a strategic document depending on the data, reliable data that is available. We'll discuss our ILO counterparts. We have our EU counterparts, the Better Work, the service recipients, the factories, the companies which are taking the service, which are receiving the service from Better Work. And also, we have developed our own data system, that is Labor Information Management System, and the inspection system, that is LIMA, Labor Information Management Application. And since I work for the development of the ministry as well, we have planned to go for a massive, robust, interactive data platform. And that can be the biggest platform which may relate to getting data related to OSH and also other parameters that are being discussed. Thank you.
I would like to complement that from the ILO. We also have an MOU with the government on data sharing to make sure that our aggregated data get regularly shared and that our risk analysis can also benefit the government.